Hey guys, and welcome back to another awesome episode of 8 Dead Giants. And this is a bit weird because I'm doing an intro here for the episode, but I'm all by myself. But as you'll soon hear in the episode, I'm joined by the amazing Matt for our After Dark special magic type of discussion. However, yeah, when we recorded just over a week ago, we went on for about 3 hours. I was like, there's no way I'm going to put a 3 hour podcast out. Who the hell wants to listen to one that long? So I split it into two. And this is the second part, though the parts, while I've put them together, they are maybe not naturally that flow, because I wanted to do movies last week, and we got games and we got TV to talk about this week. We'll be back next week, hopefully with another giant who's going to join me for a deep dive into a couple of very specific topics, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I think without further ado, I'm not going to beat around the bush anymore or make you listen to me all by myself anymore. Let's get back to the amazing chat that I had with Matt last week for part 2 of our After Dark special. Enjoy. Okay, let's talk about games. I think I'm going to want, actually, it goes against the order that we only just agreed upon in a minute, but actually, Matt, I kind of want you to start and kick us off with this one game, this big game that I know you've gotten into, and I've played a little bit of, but I really want almost you to encourage me to go back to. So why don't you tell us a bit about Game of the Year contender,
Hello
Claire
Kitty.
Obscura.
Oh.
Very good, very good. Claire Obscura Expedition 33, I believe is the full title. Is that, if I'm correct?
Yes, you are correct. And I found out that Clair Obscur means light and dark. Yes. Light, dark, something like that.
Something French and pretentious, I'm sure.
Yeah. Wow. Where do you start with this game? Well, so first of all, I haven't finished it. I'm not quite sure how far I reckon I get a gut feeling I'm halfway-ish, maybe a bit further than halfway. Sort of 20 odd hours in. Where do you start with this?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking myself. So it's a big RPG game, turn-based combat, which typically is something I don't like. I've never really got into Final Fantasy games because I find that kind of combat a little boring. Like, you hit me, now it's my turn.
Interesting, because you love D&D. That's weird to me.
True.
You love that, but don't like that.
But I think we've said this before. D&D combat to me is the weakest element of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm there for the role playing, but the combat in this is so visceral. It's like an action movie. Everything looks like a cinematic. I mean, you'll love it because it's just like every battle's like a trailer.
What are you saying?
Just you love trailers.
That's true. I do love the hype.
But the combat reminds me of like the old Paper Mario RPGs and things like that, where there's like quick time events. Like if you're doing this skill, make sure you hit A at the right time, and you'll do a little bit of a stronger attack. And when the enemy attacks you, you have the opportunity to parry it or dodge it. So it just keeps the combat a bit more engaged to me. And like the enemies look really cool, but the premise, the story, I love. And I think in this world of, not world, but AI, there's a lot of slop out there with stories, and particularly in the movie industry. This is where I really love the story of this. And I'm still learning the story, and I won't spoiler this, but this is off on the box type of story. Is essentially there's a giant tower. There's someone called the Paintress that once a year is writing a number on it, on this monolith. It started at 99 and it's counting down 98, 97. And what that number is anyone that is of that age at that point in time just dies. And the reason it's called Expedition 33 is the age that it is at. The number now is 33. So you are part of a party going to stop the Paintress, and people typically will go on their expedition the year of their demise, essentially. No one's returned. Obviously, no one's been successful. So you are going over there to find out what's going on, who the Paintress is, how did this world become fractured, and the way just it just feels like the story just has, like, I feel like a fish. I'm on the hook, and it's just pulling me along really, really nicely. It's not like full blown, here's a story, now just do a load of combat till the end. It's just drip feeding stuff as we go along. Very smart. I'm just praying, I'm hoping, as I said, I haven't got to the end, it doesn't go full Kojima on me and just flips the script and, oh, this thing in the corner that you've never seen or heard of, this was it all along. I hope it doesn't do that. I'm confident it won't do that, because so far the plot drops that they've done along the way have been bang on. Some theories that I've had have been right, some have been wrong, but where I've been wrong, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. So yeah, story's good, it looks beautiful, the soundtrack is amazing, absolutely amazing, and I love soundtracks in games. Um, yeah, just
I
under the radar. Love this game. For me, it was under the radar anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten a lot of kind of like positive buzz now, but I think it certainly didn't have this prior to launch. And I mean, I played it in its first week or so, and I put about 4 hours in, so still really early on.
Oh yeah.
But what blew me away, and I think you kind of touched on it on your sort of description of the premise, was that a lot of RPGs, right, have those huge sort of sweeping stakes that talk about, world-ending threats and how you're the chosen one and how you're at the center of this and you've got to save the day. And that's the core of not just RPGs, of a lot of video games. But you don't often resonate and feel it as much as you do in the beginning of this game, where the storytelling is so mature and so well written and so well voice acted in those first 2 hours that you absolutely feel the sense of impending, inevitable doom that is over the entirety of this really weird, fucked up French sort of society where this thing has happened, without spoilers or going into it too much. Obviously, I barely know anything after 4 hours anyway, but it kind of hammers it home with some very cinematic kind of devices that work incredibly well to give you that connection in a very brief amount of time. And it's a first game from a new developing studio, though it is made up of industry luminaries, right, who have come together to form Soundfall Interactive. And I think you talked about it being beautiful. I think it's the best use of Unreal Engine 5 that I've seen in the game so far. It really does utilize that incredible engine to like its most impactful effect at the with the lighting and the character models and the seamless transitions and the menu designs and all of that. And then it also feels wonderfully unique and French and European and different to anything you've played before. It might be a JRPG to a degree in its combat mechanics, but the whole thing feels so sort of independent in the rest of its entirety. And I think these guys have really set themselves up for a hell of a challenge going forwards, as this is their first game. I mean, they're really going to struggle to match what they've done here with this, I think, because of the impact it's had already, and it's on a lot of people's Game of the Year list. But no, I know I need to get back to this. I know I need to, and I know I'll love it.
It's so good. It does this hot, and the story only gets better. With it's really hard because I don't want to spoil anything, but the people in the game know, well, I'm gonna die at the end of the year regardless, so let's do this thing. But yeah, it's one of the few games I'm actually like, I want to carry on, and I'll sit down, and my body's like, keep playing, I want more, but my head's like, I don't want this thing to end too quickly, so I'm just pacing myself. But it does a good thing of like as you're going around the world, it opens up for exploration, but it will tell you, oh, this is a bit dangerous right now. Come back later. And there's a lot of side stuff that you can do. But yeah,
Okay.
it's hard. It's hard without spoiling it too much, but absolutely amazing game. It's on Game Pass, which I think is a smart move. Because some people are like, oh, it's so good, it shouldn't have gone on Game Pass. I don't think it would have got the recognition if it just popped up on Steam at £40 or wherever. I think the fact that it was on Game Pass enabled a volume of people to talk about it and play it. I'm semi worried they'll take it off Game Pass now. It's got this hype, so I'm like, I want to get it done before that happens. But even if they took it off Game Pass tomorrow, I would pay it straight away, even though I'm already halfway through it.
Don't say it
Yeah.
too loudly.
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing? No, that's a really good point, actually, that it was able to achieve a critical mass of cultural impact because of its accessibility on Game Pass. I think that's a really good point, actually, that it's worked, I think, really well for this developer. It's their first game. They wanted to get that exposure out there. They knew they had something different that might have put people off because of some of those mechanics that we've talked about. And, you know, that's not always... like you, I'm the same. JRPGs don't always hook me in because that mechanic is a bit standoffish. I would rather be more directly involved in the combat. But it does so much with those active battle mechanics that does keep you really engaged with the combat, even though it is turn based. But for me, it's the character stuff, the writing, the voice acting. I mean,
So
you know, you must have recognized Charlie Cox, Daredevil, as Gustav,
Charlie
right?
Cox,
Immediately.
Andy Serkis is in it. A few voice actors from Baldur's Gate's in it. Ben Starr's in it.
Yep.
Yeah, and my 9-year-old has sat down and watched me on a couple of sessions. He's like, "Daddy, you cannot complete this without me being next to you." Like, he is hooked onto the story.
Needs to know what happens.
That's all we talk about. We theorize about who's who, what's going on. And I was playing it today, and I was like, and he dipped out. He's like, "I'm just gonna go to the toilet." I was like, "All right, man." And then a cutscene happened. I was like, "Cutscene!" He's like, "Pause it." Yeah,
that's awesome. What a cool experience.
Yeah,
that's
so
really
good.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll play some more, and I think we'll touch base again when we're maybe both done with that. I really want to finish it up for that Game of the Year discussion at the end of the year, which we'll inevitably do in some format. I don't know what yet at this point, but I'm sure we'll talk Game of the Year and stuff and favorite movies and things like that. And it's so cinematic. That's what I love about it. It feels almost like I'm playing a really good film as well as a really good game, right? It's one of those pieces of video game art that transcends the medium to a degree. The other one from recent years that comes to mind for that is Alan Wake 2, that the kind of this game that like goes beyond a game, right? I don't think it will do a Kojima. I don't think it will.
No,
I think it's also, from what I've heard, only about 40 hours, so it doesn't overstay, which some JRPGs do, which go on for like 90, hundreds of hours, you know.
Yeah.
I think this will give us a fairly succinct story and experience, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, home run of a game. It feels like it was built by gamers, and they've just taken the best bits of everything and just molded it into this absolutely amazing RPG. And they're like, what are the bits we hate? Let's not have that. Let's not have random encounters. We want to see the enemies. Let's have turn-based combat, but let's not make it boring. Let's make it visual, cinematic. Let's make them engage. Like, they've just picked the bits that they hated out of RPGs and scrapped it and just doubled down on the cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to, like, I know the party gets bigger. I want to meet more characters. I want to see how those mechanics, you know, as will be the one in a game like this, they'll have different, you know, ability sets, how they will play together, how they will combo up and stuff. Yeah,
that's a big thing. It is very welcoming to rebuild characters. Like, each character, like, so Gustav, he's the main guy at the start. Your Gustav build might be very different to my Gustav build. Like, we will use him in different ways. Our party members will be used in different ways, whether it's the weapon, whether it's the the pictos and the way that all works is phenomenal. Skill sets, like it's really different. And actually, I've multiple times rebuilt characters. If I get a new weapon for a character, I'm like, oh, that's a cool weapon, right? And I just respec them completely. And I've done it multiple times in my playthrough.
And there's no punishment for it, sort of thing.
So there's an item you have to use, but it's there. It's everywhere. You just buy it from traders, and so it's very easy to just respec.
That's cool. I like the games that like allow you to sort of express yourself and experiment and to try stuff. Yeah, that's a fun idea. I like that.
Yep.
We mentioned there about a game that doesn't overstay its welcome in Expedition 33. That is going to be a tight, succinct 40 hours or so, and respects your time. And now I kind of want to use that to segue into a game that never ends, in the form of Destiny 2. And when I brought this up in the pre-show with Matt, and we were talking about what his Destiny experience was, he said one of the reasons you didn't go to Destiny 2 is because it's a live service game and it would require your life's commitment
Correct.
to play it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're not wrong. In some, I have probably 1.5 thousand hours in Destiny, something to that effect, I suspect. At this point, I've been playing Destiny since the alpha of the first Destiny game, way back when, 1,000,000+ years ago. It feels like it's been around a long time now, Destiny. But I was kind of pre-coded to love Destiny because it's Bungie, right?
Bungie and Halo, yeah.
Bungie and Halo, and that's my jam, and that's where I come from. And they make great shooters. The Bungie we have now is a very different beast. It's owned by Sony, of all people. It's a studio that's basically has none of the creatives in it that it did back when it first made Destiny. It's completely different thing. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of reflected in what's just happened in Destiny 2. The Edge of Fate, the new year has kicked off. After a whole year of epilogue, which we got to the final shape, which was the big finale to the light and dark saga, and when we found out about the witness and we got the kind of resolution of that whole multiple years of storytelling. And much like the MCU, they then went through a big phase of what the fuck are we, right? They really struggled with their identity. They really struggled to get a grips of what the meta was, of what the story was going to be, of what kept people interested in Destiny. And it was this weird, awkward year where I fell off the game more than I've ever fallen off the game since it first began. And I barely played the last year of content, but being the sucker I am, this year came around and I pre-ordered the most expensive Ultimate Edition and bought a whole year of content in advance because I'm a twat and I'm the problem and I'm the reason we get this trash shoveled in our faces. But I don't think I'm disappointed. I think I'm still coming to terms with what this is, because they've made some pretty significant changes. And to me, like you, I'm a big guy about story and narrative and character. And they have taken some real swings with that, more than I've ever seen in any previous Destiny experiences, to the point where I was quite shocked at some of the character moments that came into this, and how they are reframing some of the earliest existing characters. Now, you might remember this character, Matt, from all the way back in Destiny 1, Ikora Rey, who was the Warlock Vanguard, the person in charge of the entire Warlock faction. Now, they've made a big change to this character this year in terms of backstory, and they've completely reframed her. And I've always mained a Warlock. That's always been my class, so I've always had an affinity for Ikora. So this particularly was surprising and quite shocking and interesting. But I love that they've made an attempt at doing different story, and they're telling it in a different way. I don't know if you remember, Matt, but the story in Destiny 1 was always quite obfuscated and kind of labyrinthian and very complex, and you had to pick through lots of walls of text in the grimoire and read descriptions on guns and things like that to actually understand what was going on, right? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that at all. I remember Peter Dinklage and
Dinklebot, yeah.
the boss from Suits.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dinklage has not been in Destiny for a very long time because they recast Ghost as Nolan North, and they did that about 10 years ago. So because I'm guessing Dinklage got expensive because of Game of Thrones, and they couldn't get him back. We've also had Lance Reddick died, right? Zavala. he died. Like the main voice actor for the Titan Vanguard passed away. Really sad. So they had a situation where they had some of his stuff recorded, and they actually kept the character in there, and actually bits they didn't have recorded for him, they just had text on the screen, right, and stuff like that, which was kind of loved that they respected that. But now he's been kind of pushed to the back, that character, and they've brought in new characters in this new one as well, and they're taking some swings, and the way they're telling the story, to go back to the reason I was asking about that, is much more straightforward, and it's much more conventional. It's much more what you'd expect from a more kind of standard AAA shooter experience or video game.
What?
Well, oh dude, brutal. Why'd you go straight to that?
It's just the way you were teeing it up. Sorry, I misread that one.
No, that was just hot. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Probably there is some AI. There's a lot of AI assistance in a lot of game development now. Like that's becoming pretty standard. But yeah, and maybe more than we'd like in a studio like Bungie, where they have laid off a lot of staff and there's been cuts, and the money isn't there for Destiny as in the same way as it used to be. But so in addition to these character bits and story bits that I'm kind of talking around because I don't want to spoil it because it's still really new, they've also brought in a massive new mechanic, which when I saw the trailers for this, was like, what the fuck you do to my Destiny? What are you doing? Do you know what they did? You'll never guess, right? Think of a video game mechanic, right? From the PS1 era, that you don't really see in games today, but they brought it in as a major mechanic in Destiny. You'll never guess this.
I'm thinking
unless you've seen a trailer.
No. Like moving blocks. Like you have to pull things around, like puzzles.
No.
I was thinking
like a bit like Loot River or something that came to mind.
I was thinking like God
there.
of War, where you have to like move the blocks around and.
No, it's kind of more. It's a traversal mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Give you another hint. Traversal mechanic.
It's like like Mario 64 platformer.
Well, you're kind of in the right kind of ballpark. I'll tell you. So they brought Super Monkey Ball into Destiny. You can turn.
That was GameCube.
Same era, isn't it? Roughly. I mean, what generation of consoles? Close.
PS2.
No, all right, PS2. Right, the following generation. I was close. I never got into those Super Monkey Ball games. But anyway, you could turn into an electric ball.
They are really
of
good.
Lightning, and you can kind of roll the ball around to deal with puzzles, but collect also
bananas.
Collect power-ups, and then you can also use it as like a combat mechanic to like shock enemies and activate things in boss fights and like lower shields in certain combat environments. It's like they've really gone for it. Whoever came up with this idea, I can imagine a particular, I don't know, millennial who thought this would be cool in the studio, but they've doubled down and really gotten behind the mechanic, and they use it throughout this new content in lots of different encounters and in different ways, and they kind of evolve it and they kind of play around with it a bit. And at first I was like what the fuck? But honestly, it is quite well done. Like, it doesn't feel just as a gimmick. They've actually properly built the encounters around this new mechanic.
How would this work? Let's say, I don't know, we're in the open worldy bit of Destiny. I haven't paid money for the new whatever. You have. Can I roll around Monkey Ball style?
So the Monkey Ball stuff is only available in the new location, which is tied into the expansion. Now, but the way Destiny does this is that content, that world part, will be available to the free players, but then there will be missions that are not. There will be parts of that are not accessible if you haven't paid for it.
I like how you strategically called them the common folk. The riffraff.
What you have to remember is that Destiny 2 didn't start off as free-to-play, right? It wasn't a free-to-play game. I didn't
even know it was free-to-play now.
Yeah, so it became free-to-play, and then, but they've got these yearly, purchasable expansions and then there's multiple tiers of that you can get access to and stuff like that. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I think probably, I know prior to this, I'm sure this release has given it a bit of a bump, but the numbers were the lowest they've ever been for players and for engagement. And that doesn't surprise me at all, because much like when the MCU finished the Infinity Saga, that was an end. That's when people went, I'm done with that. I don't want any more. I've done it for 10 years, and now I've had a conclusion. I'm going to go do something else, which is a perfectly natural, way of thinking about it. But then, obviously, for a Bungie now owned by Sony, and for a Marvel owned by Disney, they've got to think of ways to get you back, right, and get to pull you back in, to re-engage those people that they've lost, and engage a new audience that they never had in the first place, right? As people grow up into that area, so it's a really difficult proposition. There's lots around this as well, beyond just those bits that they've brought in, where they've got new armor mechanics. They've reset the power level down to like 0, so that everybody gets kind of feels like they're starting at the same place, which is quite a smart thing to do to bring in new players again. They've got some new gun mechanics. They've got, like I said, new stories, new characters. It does feel genuinely like a good place, or the best place since Destiny 2 launched, for you to kind of get into the Destiny experience. However, the onboarding and the kind of the accessibility for new players is still quite difficult. It still isn't an easy world to get back into. No, you wouldn't. No, you'd be able to basically get the new expansion, go to the new location, meet the new characters, and engage with that story and play around off of that. But if you wanted to do the other bits that are tied to the other previous content, there would be some other stuff you might need to purchase, but you could quite easily ignore all of that. But that's part of the problem with the way the system, the whole kind of structure of the game is set up. It kind of wants you to delve, but also wants to funnel you at the same time. It's just a lot of legacy content that's quite confusing.
I can't imagine them attracting much new. There'll be a lot of just let's keep our player base and returning players, I assume.
It's a tough proposition, yeah, because you've got to try and grow. You've got to find new audiences, right, for a live service game. But yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to achieve with that. There's too much bolted on crap now around it. I think it's kind of days are numbered. This could be the last year, maybe one more, something like that. Do they try and pivot into a Destiny 3? Do they just move on? Marathon's not looking great for Bungie. And live service games in general are falling very much out of favor. So I really, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But I'll always keep my nose in, right? I'll always come back and check out the newest, latest for it because of my nostalgic connection. So yeah, I'm at least not disappointed by it. I'm intrigued by what they've done. Yeah, I think that's the best you can hope for as an old fan for this. I'm not absolutely in flames of anger. Win. Take what you can.
They take that as a win. People
they take
aren't that annoyed with
it. I spent my 90 quid and they're happy to get it. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, you stupid fucking idiot.
Thank you very much.
Hoodwinked. Right, why don't you talk about something now? Because you just sat there quietly and listened to me monologue about Destiny. So
that's right. What are we going to talk about? UFO 50?
Yeah, I've heard about this game, but I've not played it.
It's really cool. So UFO 50, I think it's only on Steam actually. So it's 50 games in one. And the best way I can describe it is they are NES era, so late 80s, early 90s aesthetic games, but they've been designed with modern minds. And on the face of it, you see these, you just got, here's a load of games, pick one, and you go into it, and you're like, this is basic, but there's like really hidden like mechanics to these games. They are so fun. What's great about it is it's a dip in, dip out type of game. Like I've only completed 2 out of the 50, but like they may take 45 minutes, but they might take hours to master, to complete some of these games. But there's so much variety here, and so far I haven't really come across a dud. I spent a while just like jumping into games, like I give it 30 seconds, jump out, give it 30 seconds, jump out. But then I hit a few like really fun ones, and I've just been stuck on those. But there's like strategy games, sports games, fighting games, RPGs, roguelikes, golf games. There's so much variety in this thing, and for like 25 quid, I play it. Well, I've only played on my Steam Deck. It's perfect. It's so much fun.
So it's a big anthology. Is there any kind of like through line or connective tissue, or is it just a
So
library of
it's
nostalgia
essentially
games?
a library of games. I think some games are linked, and if you so the whole idea of it is there's 50 games on a shelf and they're dusty, and you dust it off and you play a game, and then if you complete the game, the cartridge on your shelf goes gold. When you complete a game, it will then give you another objective to, or give you two more objectives to do. There's one objective where you can get a gift, and that will be some sort of achievement to get in the game, and then you get a gift, and that goes in your garden. So you like there's collectibles to it, and then there's another way to get the cherry award for the game, and that'll be another way to. It could be like complete it on the hardest mode or complete this game without losing a life, and then it goes cherry. So the ultimate goal is to get all these cartridges to cherry level. um, but it looks like there are hidden things in there, like you can open up a command panel with like all code and you can input commands, but I don't know what they are yet. I have no idea, so I assume that will appear at some point the more stuff I unlock. But yeah, I've only completed 2 games. But I reckon I've played about 30 out of the 50, and I would say about 15 out of that 30 I really, really want to play a lot of. It's well worth it if you like that aesthetic type of game.
Did you play? Because it just randomly made me think of another game. Did you play Arcade Paradise?
Yes, I did.
Did we talk about that? I think we might have talked about
Not
Arcade Paradise.
not on the podcast, but we did
Okay,
play
because
it
I
together.
loved that whole idea that I've like inherited a laundromat and I'm going to turn it into an arcade,
You're
and then
building
every
an
arcade machine you put in it, you can also
So,
play it, and there's like challenges tied into it, and
so
I really like the meta level of that as well.
yeah,
That
so
was
the
really fun.
games you play in the arcade in Arcade Paradise
Hmm.
has a similar feel to UFO 50, but I actually think the games in UFO 50 are better,
Okay,
and there's way more of them, and they've, like I said,
is there 50 of them?
some there's 50 of them,
I'm
um,
guessing.
but they are very, very good. Like I said, I've not come across one that's a dud, and there's been some where once I've figured out how it works, I'm like, wow, this is very well made.
The weird thing about games like this, that whole kind of connection to the arcade scene, right? It's the strangest feeling for me because it's this nostalgia for a childhood I didn't have. I didn't really play arcade games. Like, I didn't, I mean, very occasionally, and I grew up on the seaside where there were arcades, but very occasionally you'd go into an arcade, but it wasn't like the American arcade scene where you'd spend hours every day hanging out at the arcade, at the strip mall. So it's this weird
This
nostalgia for a childhood I only know through films, and yet I still feel like I have.
Yeah, it
I don't know if
doesn't.
there's a term for that, but
It's not. The games aren't arcadey. They're more NES. If you grew
okay.
up with, and I grew up
Ah.
with a Nintendo, um, as I've got
For
it.
this is an audio podcast. To just be clear, Matt
Oh
showed
yeah,
off his
sorry.
NES tattoo on his
I have
arm
a
that he's
NES
got
controller
recently.
tattoo.
Yeah.
So, and that just, yeah. So if you have, but again, even if you just have a a drive to play retro games, but don't want to play like Super Mario Brothers, probably still holds up. There's a lot of retro games that we might go, oh, I remember playing that when I was a kid, but they're rubbish now. They're just unplayable. As I said, these are retro games built with a modern mind.
Interesting.
So there's one. It looks very retro side scroller. And it's like a platformer with enemies that you like jump and hit, and it's if you get hit, you lose a life. But the way it's done is there's like 4 different um, characters you pick, and they all do a different thing where you can pause them. So some might set up a ladder, some might dig a hole, some might go to stone, so they become the platform to then jump to other things. It's really unique. It's so clever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there's 50, so it's hard to go through every single one, but it is well worth it.
Okay. And also, this type of game is so built for you because you have
Yeah.
that the way you consume games, isn't it? It's very bite sized. It's very, like you said, on your Steam Deck.
Hmm.
You know, you don't often get to spend a day in an RPG,
No.
right? Because you've got your family commitments and stuff, and that's super well designed for your experience. You know, I'm wondering, me with my PC, and I'm just sort of sat here. Am I going to engage with this in the same way that you are? I'm not sure. I mean, I am
Don't
gonna get a
know.
PC handheld probably by the end of this year, but
Because you like your Vampire Survivor
I
esque type of
do.
games, and they're very,
Talked about that.
can dip in, dip out. So,
True, yeah.
I also like that there's a lot of multiplayer games in this as well. So I've sat the kids
I
down and
am
go, let's play some of this.
I am finding myself more drawn to the less narrative heavy games recently because, like, and the big narrative games, kind of like Expedition 33, right? That the idea of it is really appealing, but then the actual time commitment to properly seeing it through is just something I'm really poor at. Because I'll always get distracted by the NLB, right? The newest, latest, best. And the new shiny thing will always pull me away. And I so rarely complete like those big games. So these actually kind of the bite size kind of thing is growing on me. Like you said with the Vampire Survivors, I was talking about Greedland a couple of weeks ago as well, which is a game in that sort of genre. So maybe I'll have to check this out. And it seems like a good value proposition as well. That amount of games, that cheap price point. I might have to check that out. I think it came out a couple of years ago or last year
It's
or
been
something.
a while. It's been widely received
well reviewed.
and people love it. Yeah, but yeah, I typically game. I'll have one big game on the go, and then I'll have a couple of smaller ones. So the smaller ones is UFO 50 and Stardew Valley, which is I always have a Stardew Valley on the go.
Really? Huh.
Oh,
Okay.
love that game. It's like top
Little,
5 game
little
for me.
pastoral chill time.
Oh,
Stardew Valley.
Particularly in the summer, get the hammock out, Steam Deck, Stardew Valley. Life's great.
I don't get me wrong. There's something super satisfying about. Today I'm going to just plow these fields and plant some things.
Yeah, just
get
do
them all bedded in, and it's really task orientated, isn't it?
Milk the cows, see if the rabbits have laid their wool. It's just the best.
Again, it's an experience which you can kind of break down into these little bite-sized achievable accomplishments, which makes you feel like you've actually done something and that you've actually achieved something, and that goes a long way to create satisfaction, doesn't it? In a gaming experience.
It's just
I
love that game.
It's a good game. Talking about games that you always go back to, right? I can't even remember why. I mean, there was a patch that came out, but I don't think that's why I downloaded it again. But I've once again downloaded Cyberpunk 2077. Can you believe, Matt, this year is its 5th anniversary?
I actually thought it'd be older than that.
Did you? Okay, I was really surprised because I've basically been consistently engaging with this game since the day it came out. Like, this is one of my... I'm going to actually put it up there now. This is in my top 10 games of all time, right? Like, this is one of the best realized worlds I have ever experienced in a video game. I am predisposed to love, cyberpunk aesthetic. I love that setting. I love that concept. And this, of course, is built by the amazing CD Projekt Red. It is just a brilliant world, and I am so excited to see what they do with the sequel. But I absolutely adore it, and I found myself back in there again, just clearing map junk, right? Just clearing the wanteds, clearing the gigs, just doing that stuff, not even engaging with the main story, just existing in the world. I find it so brilliant. One of the things they brought out in the new patch, right? I think you'll understand why this is awesome. They've brought out an auto drive function. So you can basically turn Cyberpunk 2077 into a Cyberpunk screensaver. So you can just go, I want to travel to other side of map. Go, please. And you'll be in your awesome car and you'll let it go and you'll just watch the world go by. And it's such a cool fucking world, and you see things happening around you as you do it, and you just drive there. And now you don't even have to do the driving anymore, and it's such a great feature. Why do I love that? I love it.
Put the radio on. It's
Yeah.
one of the few
music.
games I actually like
music.
heavily utilized fast travel. I was like, nah, I'm going to drive, and a lot of the times I'm like, I'm going to drive and I'm going to obey the law because I just want to soak in the world. Yeah, I love Cyberpunk. I took my time with it. I let it. I absorbed it. I let it just bring me in. I bought it. I got into Cyberpunk when they had just brought out Phantom Liberty
Oh,
when they did this
good time.
when they did the 2.0 thing,
Perfect
and that
time. I mean,
and
that's
that's yeah,
peak.
and it was just before a Christmas break, so I had time mostly in the evenings, and I just that thing just took over me, and I loved every minute of it.
I loved it since day one, right? Warts and all. Yeah, it was pretty buggy, but the ambition, the world was still there, right? The incredible storytelling, the brilliant characters, let's be real, the incredible Keanu Reeves performance. It was still there, right? That guy. I think there was a story about this recently. Originally, his part was written about 25% of what it became. He loved the world and the project and the product so much, he got them to expand his role, right? Because he connected with it. And it's like, that's so cool. And he's such a cool fucking dude. And like Idris Elba as well in Phantom Liberty, super cool as well. Like it's just dripping in awesome style. And it's like, I would love to do, actually, we do our D&D. I would love to do a cyberpunk pen and paper.
That would be.
I know
good.
the other people in our group would be a lot less interested in that, but I would kill to do that. That would be my jam. I would like live and breathe that world, that universe. But no, I'll always go back to this game, and they keep supporting it. They keep patching it. They keep bringing new stuff out to it. Even though I think they said they were going to stop doing that about a year ago, they've not been able to stop themselves. They keep doing more, and I love that. I love it.
They probably owe a little bit of a fan service to it just because of how rocky the start of it was. But they're definitely recouped. They've redeemed themselves. They've kind of forgotten about that launch.
And I think the other reason they probably keep supporting it is I think the sales keep ticking over. That it has now got a really good base, and there's good feedback and good reviews, that they keep selling it. They keep getting new players in, right? So they keep bringing in an audience. They keep supporting it, and I love that. And I'm a lot less interested in another Witcher than I am another Cyberpunk. And it's unfortunate that we've got to get through a Witcher 4 led by Ciri, who wasn't the most interesting of characters in The Witcher 3, which is unfortunate. But hopefully after that we will get back.
Witcher is unfortunate.
Witcher 4 is unfortunate. Unfortunate. See what I did there?
Still never played Witcher.
I'm surprised. You love your generic fantasy bullshit. You really enjoy Witcher.
I think at the time it was kicking. I own it, but I think at the time of purchasing, I didn't have my life at that particular time. I didn't have time to consume more than 45 minutes. Now that I can, I will pick up Witcher 3 at some point.
Especially as you own it, if you've got the DLC as well. I think I have like a
game of year edition or something like that.
Yeah, there's some incredible stuff in the DLC. Like the base game's really good, but when they go off to I forget now, there's like a whole expansion world, other country they put into it, that has a much more vibrant color palette, and it's such a nice change up to the fairly dour brown green oppressiveness of the arseholes in The Witcher 3. Like everybody's an arsehole in The Witcher 3, and that's what CD Projekt Red does so well.
I think I would be if I lived in that world. But yes, I would love to go back to Cyberpunk and roll a completely new character, because I was hyper smart weapons hacking. Like I could essentially wipe out a building without even going into the building, which was cool.
Yeah.
But
edge runners are cool as hell.
Yeah. I'm kind of tempted to go back in and do melee, just rip people apart.
I mean, it's like this is one of those worlds with some of the cool, like the coolest terminology, right? Just saying things like edge runners and Sanderistans and the Black Wall, and the whole universe that was created off the back of the pen and paper. Like, let's give it credit, right? That's where it's come from, the source material. But it is just it's just dripping in badassery. And
how cool are the smart weapons though? I had a smart sniper rifle. And
I had smart shotguns. I like smart shotguns.
Yeah, just hiding under cover. I'm just gonna pop this up in the air. It's gonna hit you in the head at some point.
It's so great. But I've just that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm doing a nomad origin, edge runner, pistol main character. All about the hacking and the quick hacks, and a quick hack suicide, which is always very entertaining to watch them blow their own brains out.
I had all these quick hacks, and people's brains were getting fried before I even opened the front door.
It's so great. So final game I want to touch on. It's another game I think we both love. I've just started a new playthrough, and that is the kind of another ever game. I'm curious. Maybe I can find the date, the year. I wonder if you know this. The year Stellaris came out. Can you guess what year Stellaris came out? I've got it in front of me now.
2019.
16.
Whoa.
2016. It's nearly 10 years old
Wow.
at this point. That's crazy, right? It's about 6 months off, 9 months off being 10 years old. That is ridiculous. Like the game, it's it's an incredible 4X game. You play a race of your design to conquer the universe in the way you want, with lots of cool story beats and exploration as it comes up. Every game is a different story. It is, it's made by Paradox. These guys are like, Europa Universalis and all those games as well. This is their bread and butter, but it's their sci-fi one. I can only imagine they've been, where's 2? When are you going to do Stellaris 2, right? But they keep just bringing out DLC and supporting this original game. Look, right now, if you look at the reviews, latest patches,
it's getting
not hot.
tanked a bit, isn't it?
It's not gone over great with the community, mostly because they brought out some new kind of like racial elements that kind of tank the performance of the game. So they're currently working on trying to bring the stability back to the game and that sort of stuff. So I think late game is really framey at the moment, like really poor performance. But I'm early to mid game in my new playthrough, so I haven't hit that wall yet. But I'm playing a machine race utilizing the Machine Age DLC, which really kind of goes into that kind of element where you're playing all about the machine and all about like the central consciousness and like basically the Borg. And I love playing the machine, but the big DLC at the moment is kind of like they're going for the organic side of it. So talking about in terms of Star Trek, sort of think species 8472 or something like that, a full biological race that doesn't use technology as such. And that I love that they just keep bringing in these new mechanics and trying these new things. And unfortunately, like I said, it's not the best right now, but man, it's so much fun in it. I remember you got into it pretty heavy.
Yeah, so I've only played this one, like I did a full run through once, but that still takes 20-30 hours to do a full match game, however you want to put it, from start to finish. Yeah, and I loved it. I was so impressed with how, because I big Civ player, used to be a big Civ player. This destroyed Civ for me. It gave me everything that Civ would do, and it's given me more, because I actually found Civ to be a bit too basic. And I actually got a little bit annoyed with the way Civ would, how different factions would act. Like you'd have Gandhi declaring war on you and stuff like that. And I was like, that doesn't feel right to me. Whereas this, and we've talked about role playing in games and things in the past. This gave me the 4X game with the ability to role play in it. So I stuck to my guns. I was making decisions with the faction, the race that I wanted to be. So I started as a tutorial and I just built on it. So I was just humans, Billy Basic. But I was all around just wanting people to be my friend, forging alliances. I became the leader of the Global Alliance, or Global Federation, whatever it was called. Became the leader of like market trading. So I was just basically I was trying to use other people to manipulate my way around anything. And if someone got a little bit aggressive towards me, they'd have to answer to my friends.
So you played as the United States of America? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, just super fun. Loved it. And I really want to get back into it and do another run match with a completely different race. But I got like it must have been a Steam Winter Sale, probably not this one gone last, but the year before, and I got like some bundle. It was like a starter pack, so I got the game and a couple of DLCs. But I know there's millions of DLC.
Yeah, so I think that's where some of that community criticism comes from, is that they're now doing these season passes, and they're now doing like, the DLC is not cheap, But at the same time, the value proposition is that, this is a studio with a game that's 10 years on the shelf now, or nearly. They do, this is the bit where I always butt heads with the gamers, right? Because I do kind of have some sympathy for the business side of the video game business, whereas if you're going to keep a studio running to support a game, they have to monetize it in some way. Right, so they have to continue to find the funding for it, and that's why you see sometimes aggressive season pass models, which is what you are currently seeing with Stellaris. It doesn't help when the game suffers from stability issues, and obviously it isn't at the best place it's going to be, because the community is going to be kind of predisposed to again be kind of hypercritical of that, because they're being forced to continuously pay for more. Right, so. It's a tricky one, but I think that I've put hundreds of hours into Stellaris. I originally discovered it actually on console. I played it on the Xbox version, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." It's before I had a gaming PC. I was really enjoying it. There was a really good port actually. It was about a year behind in terms of the DLC that was available at the time, but it was a solid port. Slightly weird on a controller, but I still had a really good time.
So
and then I got a
decent
decent
on
PC.
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And it plays really well on Steam Deck.
Yeah. The button mapping is effective, and the shortcut keys work really well from a controller perspective and stuff, and it does work really nicely. But a big PC means you can play the giant universe with 1,000 stars, and have huge 50 odd races or going at each other, and really put it under some stress. And any game like this is going to be CPU bound, so it's really puts it to the test when you get to that late game, which is where it's suffering right now. But no, I do love me some Stellaris. So one final thing. My God, we've been talking for nearly an hour already, Matt. This is crazy. I knew this was going to be a big episode, or 2 or 3. We'll see. But basically, one final thing. New trailer that's just dropped. Matt, you weren't impressed, but I was hyped for some Battlefield 6. I like some Battlefield. Come on.
I mean, I saw on the notes, you're like, let's have a quick look here. I've seen that trailer so many times, whether it was COD, Battlefield. If it didn't say Battlefield, you would have no clue it was Battlefield. No clue.
Probably not from that cinematic trailer, to be fair. No,
you would guess.
Probably wouldn't.
You would either go, this is COD or Battlefield, or maybe a new generic FPS. But I do like Battlefield games, don't get me wrong. I don't know how you can get hyped with that trailer.
Because I feel like it's been a hot minute since we had a really good modern military storyline shooter, and also because it's Battlefield, we'll have a good single player. We're going to have a full suite of multiplayer. They're going to be bringing out, by the sounds of things, a Warzone competitor, right? So they're going to try and get into that area as well.
Battlefield have not done a decent single player since Bad Company.
Nah. Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3's single player is the best Battlefield single player. Full stop.
No way. It's not better than Bad Company. Bad Company 2 was so good.
Matt, do you have Game Pass Ultimate?
I do. Right,
so you have the EA Play, yeah? That's combined into that, right?
Yes.
So you get the EA library. Go download the 360 version of Battlefield 3, play a single player, and we'll talk about it the next time we get together. Because honestly, that is one of the best cinematic modern military shooter campaigns ever created.
I'm pretty sure I created.
It's got huge beats. It's got incredible action. It's got great set pieces. It's got brilliant gunplay. It's brilliant. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Battlefield games. I always have. I think they do a really good job of it. I haven't played one in a while, truth be told, but yeah.
The last one was not amazing. It had promise. It had a sort of near future setting, and didn't stick the landing. So I'm interested in this. I'm cautiously optimistic. It's time for a new one. COD is going for a Black Ops 6, which is going to be like near future weirdness, judging by the trailer we saw at Gamescom thingy. So I think them going for a very kind of grounded, the US is under attack from an evil mercenary faction or some such, being controlled by Russia, China, whatever, and it's going to be like home on the American soil, a lot of it, dealing with those kind of stakes, destructive environments, definitely hinted at in that trailer as well, bringing that back like they did in the Bad Company games. That would be brilliant. I hope they can pull all that off. DICE engine looking amazing. DICE make really great shooters. They make really great shooters. So I'm fingers are crossed. I'm hyped for that.
That's what I want. Destruct like I used to love Battlefield when just buildings were getting blown up. You'd be in a house shooting out of a window, turn and someone just launches a rocket and half the building gets blown off. Like, it's so cool.
What's easy to forget as well about Battlefield is that these are the shooters where you can jump in a tank and you use a tank on the battlefield, jump in a plane and you can fly and you can have dogfights, jump out of the airplane, parachute to the ground, pull out a rocket launcher, shoot a helicopter out of the sky, jump in a tank, siege a building, jump out of the tank, take a control point. It's like it's just this choreographed chaos, which when they work, it is so good. But when they don't quite work, it's jarring. And then there's the meta will be, you just sit in a sniper spot and kill people from a distance, and it's not fun because you can't take 2 steps without getting killed. So it's like they have to find that balance. They have to tune it. They have to get the right amount of players. 100 sounds great, doesn't always balance well, right? So let's see what they come up with. I think the multiplayer reveal is due in August. So that'll give us a much more of an idea of what the gameplay is actually going to be. So I'm curious. I'm going to keep an eye on that one. I'm sure we'll talk about it in the future. But wow, that was a lot of games. We've just done about an hour on games. So we're going to take a breather. I'm not going to say what we're going to go to next, because I might be cutting these up in some interesting ways over the next 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. So we're going to take a little break. You may or may not have an ad to listen to. And we'll be back with some more.
Look, we've all been there. You sit down, you wait.
Nothing.
You're staring into the void, questioning every life choice that led to this moment. That's
where blow past laxatives come in.
The only laxative that doesn't gently encourage your system.
No. Blow past kicks the door down and says, "We're leaving now."
It's fast, it's aggressive, and honestly, a little scary. But ultimately, very effective.
Like clear your schedule effective. So if you're tired of being full of crap, literally, try blow past.
Because your toilet deserves a challenge.
TV talk. Your bit, Max.
It's getting worse.
Inspired. Well, I've been drinking more. What do you want from me? you want me to be more coherent? Like,
True.
Seems unlikely. We've got quite a few bits on this, haven't we? We've got quite a few bits. Why don't we start with how I've seen the Stranger Things trailer, and you refuse to watch it, even though you're a Stranger Things fan, and I just want to hold that over you for a little bit.
No need.
It's really good. It's really good. Are you worried that you could watch a 2.5 minute long trailer and be spoiled for an entire season of TV? Do you really think everything's in that trailer?
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it anyway.
But help get yourself excited.
I'm excited. I know it's coming. I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Get more excited.
What will make me more excited? Knowing what's going to happen.
Seeing the characters again that you haven't seen in a while.
I don't want to. I want to see them when I'm ready.
In November, when it's on.
This is like let's say we arrange to go out for a meal.
Yes.
And a couple of days prior to the meal, I phoned you up.
Yes.
And I said, Ben, I'm just going to give you a few little snapshots of what I'm going to discuss with you Friday night.
Let's do it.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to order. I'm going to tell you how it's going to taste like.
Yeah.
What drinks I'm going to have. The vibe of the restaurant. I'm going to tell you it all a couple of days prior to. And then come mealtime, I say the same shit again.
We've got a problem here, Matt. It's a lot like the show notes for a podcast.
No,
which I do all the time.
Yeah, but they're not like full. Oh, look, we've had this conversation.
Well, to everyone else, check out that Stranger Things trailer, because I am very excited to see how they're gonna wrap that all up. I mean, like, regardless of what's in that trailer, what are the Duffer Brothers gonna do to bring Stranger Things to a satisfying conclusion. Do we think they can stick the landing, Matt? What do you think? Can it be done?
I really want it to, because I've thoroughly enjoyed the journey. Yeah, I can only hope. What did the trailer tell you? Do you think you can stick the landing?
Well, they showed the final scene,
Yeah,
and they all got to live happily ever after.
Perfect. There we go.
Can you imagine? I guess like it is the hardest thing to do, right? With an ongoing TV show, which is to wrap up a serialized story in a satisfying way that pleases people. Obviously, in modern times, we saw what happened with Game of Thrones, right? Which was a train wreck of a final few episodes at the very least, if not the whole last season, which was just super disappointing. Were you watching Game of Thrones as well at the time?
Yeah.
And it was such a bummer. I don't think anybody walked away from that feeling satisfied. Like it felt, I don't know what happened, because it's like, if you make some creative choices, like I am always going to support you for that, right? As someone that really supports a creator and that believes in art and it should be something that's from a creator's perspective and that they make it. But it ended up feeling like they didn't really commit to anything. They felt, at times they played it safe, at times they were completely tone deaf to their characters, and at times it just felt committee driven, and it was just a mess. It was just terrible. And it was so disappointing to just about everyone. I don't think anybody walked away from that going, oh yeah, that was good. Literally no one. So even if I'm not happy with how Stranger Things ends, as long as I see something where it's like, this was a choice, they went for it, they did it, whatever it is, I'll respect that, right? It doesn't have to be a happy ending.
I'll be happy with a solid ending. Don't leave it up to any ambiguity or what happened to this person, or just actually hard stop it.
I guarantee they'll leave some threads dangling, because it's Netflix, and they have to leave something open for us for a potential sequel, don't they? To their most popular franchise of all time, don't they?
I mean, I just hope they don't, but I'm sure they will.
I think we'll get a I think, call me crazy, Vecna will be defeated, right? In by someone, probably 11. I think if I'm calling my shots now, it will be a Pyrrhic victory and 11 will die defeating Vecna. Gonna call that right now. I think the kids will get their lives, and we probably get a flash forward a la Harry Potter to see where they are maybe in modern day time right now, right? And how they've been able to go on, right? And that sort of thing. But I do think the Upside Down will continue and will still be there and will be left open for potential future exploration.
If the kids survive and it does a flash forward and they're like, oh, I've now got a wife and I've got a job. Bullshit. If you went through that, you would be in an asylum or you'd blow your fucking brains out.
No, but these are like Spielbergian kids, right?
I am. So these are, that's what we're talking about. Through that as a child.
Well, they say kids are very resilient. The problem is now these guys aren't kids. They're like young adults, so they're just scarred at this point. They're just scarred.
I'm surprised they're not just rocking like constantly. Like, I have seen literally Helen back.
Yep. Well, I do think the Duffer Brothers are a creative force. The problem is creative force versus huge corporation. Where does the line go on this? Who wins out? Right? Like, there'll be some give and take there, won't there? Right? So I'm very curious. I'm curious from that kind of perspective, that meta level. I'm also really excited just to see what happens. I think the show has been up and down, but it always making moves, right? Always trying things.
I also like their release schedule for it as well. Gives me something to do over New Year.
I just feel like we're going to get that little tranche in November. Like there'll be 3, 4, did they say? Something like that.
They're like 90-minute long episodes on there.
Yeah, and then there's going to be one on Christmas Day, and then there's going to be one on New Year's, and that'll be the finale. And that's just like, that's cool. That is cool. That's going to give us all something to look forward to, be excited about, have some appointment viewing over that season, water cooler moments, We'll talk about it here. I'm sure. I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be exciting. It was truly a breakout show. It, revitalized a whole form of entertainment in Dungeons and Dragons. Right. It basically gave that a rebirth to a whole new audience. I don't think I'd be playing D&D right now with you and with the other guys if that hadn't brought it all back in that bigger way.
I was playing D&D before it was cool, so
nerd. That's fine. But yeah. But it's really cool. I know we're going to talk about it. It's exciting. The trailer looked great. Matt, you're missing out, but also I respect that you don't want to watch it because if it was a new thing, I'd be a bit more annoyed at you. But at season 6, it's kind of like, nah, fair enough.
Fair enough. People have watched it regardless.
Fair enough. Why don't you tell me about why I should be watching The Bear?
Well, it's a tough sell. So The Bear's probably one of the best TV shows I've ever watched.
I've heard this.
It evolves around a restaurant.
Yeah.
And the chaos that comes with it. But the people that work in the restaurant, they all treat each other as family, but they're hyper dysfunctional. It's chaotic. It is intense. Some of the episodes are the most intense things I've ever watched because they're just arguing and shouting. But when there are moments of clarity and peace in the show, it's wonderful. And as you watch it, certain characters find their tranquility, and it's so nice to see. When the good stuff happens, it feels so good, but there's a lot of chaos around it. It's not really like a restaurant. That's just where it's kind of like the scene is set, but it's not really about making great food and running a restaurant. It's all about the family that's around it and how broken but bonded at the same time that they are.
Obviously,
it's again going back to hyper dialogue focused, great acting, well shot. Bears the show.
Okay, because obviously, I'm aware of it. People talk about it all the time. It's one of those things where sometimes I become averse to watching a show when the hype has been so prolific that I'm almost like, how am I ever going to get into that? Right? If I feel like I missed the window.
You won't be disappointed because it's not. I don't think people can spoil it. Like, oh, did you see that person died at the end, or that great action scene? It's not that. It's the journey of each episode is a little journey on each character. Like the way the character, you're a big fan of character development and story arcs and stuff like that. Everyone in that show has one.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I've got to make some time to. Are they half-hour episodes or?
Yeah, half-hour episodes.
Because I know originally that it was billed as like a comedy, but it's now much more into a drama. From what I've heard, people have talked about it. It's not really funny.
Comedy. Some bits are funny, but comedy does not really get close to it. But even side characters, they have really cool arcs, and when things click for them, you're like, oh, that's cool. I love that.
Okay. And you up to date now?
No. So I think it's on season 4. I've probably got about 2 episodes left of that season. Okay.
So the vast majority then.
I'm pretty much up to date with it.
Yeah, I need to. It's just like the concept. It's interesting because you said the concept is almost like it isn't really about the restaurant or the cooking. It's about the characters, and it's sort of all of it is irrespective of that, because that's kind of why I think I didn't immediately dive in, because it's just the idea of, oh, it's just a stressful restaurant environment. It doesn't sound that compelling to me.
It's one of the it's the best show, but so hard to sell. I don't know how to pitch it, apart from saying it's brilliant and it's hooked me. But because it is chaotic, it is intense. There's a lot of shouting, but it just to see this dysfunctional, broken family group of friends pull together, get stuff done. It's just really cool. Like at the end of the day, the whole blood, stick in the water type thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a hard sell, but it's so good.
I do. Again, it's on my list. It's on my like watch list. It's sat there. It's looking at me. I mean, right now it's not on my list, but I've been catching up on. I'm on the third season of Hacks, which is a very. Have you heard of Hacks?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is an Emmy award-winning kind of comedy, which is about a hugely popular female stand-up who's now kind of in the twilight of her career. She's got like a residency in Vegas, and it's about how she hires this down on her luck female like up and coming comedy writer to help reinvigorate her set and like bring more modernity into her kind of like her jokes and stuff, and the journey they go on. And again, that's one of those things that the concept isn't the most exciting or compelling, right? But then it's about as always, good comedy and dramas and stuff are always around the core of those characters and how they grow together and how they develop together and how you go on that journey with them and how you learn more about them and stuff like that, and how that then connects you with them. And I'm now kind of like in the third season and I can't stop watching it. It's brilliant. Like, it's so funny and it's so well written and well observed, and I highly recommend Hacks. Yeah, and it was quite late to come to the UK. I think the first seasons had aired in the US before anything had shown in the UK, and then finally now it's all out in the UK as well, I think. And they kind of like there was a groundswell of interest, and then finally like it got picked up to be properly shown over here. But yeah, it's very good. And Jean Smart, who plays the older comedian woman, is now winning all the awards, basically. Like, now that people will recognize how good it is, she's winning everything. Yeah, check that out when you're done with The Bear. If you're looking for something that's also, they're short episodes, 10 episodes a season, not a huge commitment. You'll find it quite, I think, hard to put down as well. So yeah, I will recommend that one to you. But I'll now move on to, I think, my big show that I want to talk about to you, which I'm quite shocked you're not watching and you don't even know about, really, from what you were telling me before, which is Foundation.
What's it on? What is it?
Apple TV Plus.
That's probably why.
Which is the best streamer that nobody subscribes to. Like, if I was going to cut every other streamer, I would before I cut Apple TV Plus. They have the highest hit ratio of any streaming service. Honestly, like 90% of the things they make are worth watching, are really, really good. So Foundation is this incredible adaptation of the unfilmable books written by Isaac Asimov, possibly one of the world's most famous science fiction authors of all time, up there with Arthur C. Clarke, easily, right, in that kind of thing. But they were unfilmable because they try to convey this millennia spanning concept of psychohistory, which is the use of maths to predict the future for the fall of this galactic human empire, and how through psychohistory this character Harry Seldon can minimize the impact of the dark ages that will come after empires collapse. Now, they're unfilmable because they are over the course of thousands of years. And they basically don't focus on characters. They focus on eras and concepts. And the characters come and go and die and are born, and new characters show up and die, and because it's over these huge periods of time. So how are you ever going to adapt that? How can you ever make that work on TV where people need to connect to characters? Now, the incredible showrunners here have decided that what they're going to do is they created some concepts. One big concept for this, to give us a kind of grounding in the universe, so we had an anchor point, and that's the thing they called the genetic dynasty, which is the idea that this last great emperor of the empire decided he'd have no more heirs, he would only have clones, and his clones would all be at 3 stages of their life. So they'd have dawn, they'd have day, and they would have dusk. So you'd have this young clone, like late teens, middle clone, who's the active emperor at that time, day, and then the clone in decline, the older clone, but they're all the same person. And those 3 would then be reborn and recycled in the show through the hundreds of year span, as we're into season 3 now, since that first season up until now. So we'd have that through line. But they also introduced this concept of genetic drift. So they're not always the same, and they start to change. Now, the main clone, the Day, is played by Lee Pace, who's an actor I would imagine you're at least moderately familiar with as a name, as an actor. And he's been able to have the most fun I've ever seen of anyone, because he gets to play the same guy, but in these different ways over these hundreds of years span. And in his current iteration, he's in what can only be described as the Big Lebowski era. Because he is the dude in this one, in season 3, where he's like this emperor who's all like louche and like, oh dude, I can't be bothered, I'm just gonna fuck and get high all the time. The empire's fucked anyway, so what's the point? And he's brilliantly disaffected in season 3, and it's so entertaining. And then Harry Seldon is played himself by the incredible Jared Harris, who is such a great actor. And he gets to go through the years because he's like an AI construct connected to this kind of physical manifestation of the concept of psychohistory. Have I bamboozled you with enough terms that you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about, Ben?
No,
it is genuinely incredible,
really cool.
Matt. Matt, you have, and visually, it is the most creative, wonderful world building. Like the visuals of science fiction in this, these giant worlds, like Stellaris, imagine Stellaris, right? Surrounded by rings, constructed rings, or, you know, Dyson spheres, or black hole guns, or giant rotating spaceships the size of moons, you know, all of this. And you see this, the amount of money on the screen in the special effects is just incredible. Like every episode feels like it could be a feanture film.
Yeah,
it is genuinely amazing.
I might
television.
bite the bullet and get Apple, because there's another one. It's like where people go to work but they don't. It's like
Severance, which I have watched as soon as it came out every week. Unbelievable, incredible, Adam Scott, absolutely fantastic, incredible television. Shrinking, Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, that's another one on there, which is just amazingly good. Like, they have original movies on there as well that they make that are all worth checking out and entertaining and really, really, really good. Oh, there's so much stuff. There's C with Jason Momoa, right? Blind warriors in a post-apocalyptic world, which is mad. They've got Silo with Rebecca Ferguson, which is like dystopic science fiction. They do a lot of great sort of speculative fiction stuff, like sci-fi, fantasy, alternative histories, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. Like really creative projects with lots of money behind them, with big names, big actors who are really giving them all, you know, to them. Like, oh my God, Apple TV Plus is so good. Like, it is the best TV.
Yeah, I need to look at that.
Oh, For All Mankind, which is the alt history America-Russia space race. That's all on there and is incredible, where it's about the Russians beat America to the moon and what that means for the technological development of the space race and how it doesn't stop. So they go to Mars. So they go to the asteroid belt. It's so fucking cool, mate. And it's like they're on Mars in the 90s, right? Because they're competing with the Russians still. It's just so much good shit. Like, so much good shit. So good. Yeah, but honestly, Foundation is just... I can't believe they've been able to adapt it, right? It is different to the books, because the books are these wonderful concept novels, right? But they're of their time, 50s, 60s, right? But it is just the most sumptuous science fiction. Foundation. It is truly incredible, right? So you can talk about something else now.
What should I talk? I only want to talk about one episode of Black. So I'm getting up to date with Black Mirror. I'm on the last season. And for those that don't know, episodes don't tie into one. You can watch episode 3 of season 1 and episode 4 of season 4, and they don't tie to each other. They're like their own individual things.
It's an anthology. It's an anthology.
Yeah. But the one I recently watched, and basically the concept of Black Mirror, if you don't know, is most of them is it takes a concept that is happening today and they just push it. What happens if we just push it a little bit too far? What happens? And the one I just watched just rang true. It was quite scary. A woman, she has like a brain hemorrhage or something like that. She's going to die unless her husband pays a monthly fee to have her brain almost like cloned, and they basically perform surgery on it, but the bit of her brain that's damaged is now in the cloud. So her memories and things like that of that part of her brain is in the cloud. So she's perfectly fine, normal, happy. He's paying monthly. He has to work overtime to cover the cost, but his wife's alive. His love of his life's alive. But they find out that they can't go to certain places because of the masts set up. Goes out a signal. So we can't go here, we can't go there. But we can go here. So they go on a little trip out, and as they're driving along, she like passes out, and he's like, oh my god, freaks out, turns around, comes back, goes straight to the office. He's like, I checked the coverage, it should be fine. They're like, oh no, you need to now upgrade to plus, and if you upgrade to plus, you can go to these places. And then there's parts in the episode where she sits up and like she'll be having a conversation like this, and then spouts out an advert. So she starts reading ads to people, and she has no idea of it. But yeah, if you want to stop reading adverts, you've got to upgrade to our premium package. And it comes to the point where they can't pay for any more. The guy's broke. He starts doing really stupid stuff to pay for the money, and their lives just go downhill. And I just think, oh my god, we do this already with stuff that isn't affecting our health, but it might happen at some point.
Well, but less likely in this country, but maybe others, yeah.
Yeah, but as an anthology, a lot of the episodes are like that. They take a concept, just push, like, what happens if it goes a little too far? And I just find them really good. Some of them are just scary, not as in jump scare, but just it freaks you out. And that one did, and it just stuck in my brain. It was really good.
Yeah, like it's always like the Darkest Timeline version, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like what would be the worst possible furthest extrapolation for this?
But just like if you haven't watched them, just dabble. I'd like stuff like that to just find me a random episode.
It's my biggest black hole of speculative fiction, I think. It's just like what I was just talking about earlier with so much hype. I find it difficult to then get into it because it's one of those things that's been so highly regarded for so long. Charlie Brooker's Black Mirror. It was obviously, I think it started on the BBC and then they dropped it and Netflix picked it up, I think, something like that, where they were willing to pay the money because the concepts got more and more expensive and extravagant. And as the interest, I think, from those kind of subsequently those bigger actors got in wanting to be in the show, which I suspect meant paying them as well, right? So he probably needed a bit more money to make that viable. But I know it's meant to be amazing. Yeah. Like, so yeah. I need to do it.
Some are incredible, some are duds, a bit like any really, but the majority are very good.
Yeah, I will. It's on that long ass list, isn't it? If only days were twice as long and we didn't need to sleep.
I think what is good is if you just not quite sure what you want to watch, or maybe you're watching a show with the other half and she's not around. That's a good one to just go, I'm just going to random episode, go.
It's a good idea. Rather than rewatching, what am I rewatching at the minute? X-Files. I'm rewatching the remake of Battlestar Galactica, and I'm rewatching Star Trek Lower Decks. So instead of doing that, watch something new. Is what you're suggesting?
Yeah,
right. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Now I know in the past we've gotten in deep on some comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, we've gotten in. You basically opened my eyes to a Tom
deep,
Segura,
light-hearted.
Oh, very, very frothy comedy. Yeah, very, very,
very frothy,
accessible and family-friendly comedy. Yeah,
I need to rewatch it, actually. So good.
I'm not sure I ever could, but also I need to. But I've got a new comedy to recommend to you that I'd heard recommendations about, and I was a bit like scared to check out, but at the same time, once I started, it was very hard to stop. And that is Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal. Have you heard of the comedian Nathan Fielder?
I want to say yes.
It's
Nathan.
I would so this show, The Rehearsal, is
Oh no, I have not.
kind of like a how much of it's faux and how much of it's real documentary / comedy. It's very hard to tell how much of this show is fake. And I guess in a way, that's part of the charm of it and the comedy of it. The concept is, imagine if, with the infinite budget of, I believe it's HBO that funds the show, you could create these scenarios where you could create a rehearsal for anything you might experience in life. So you could practice it ad nauseum beforehand and therefore be prepared for any potential eventuality that might come up. So he kind of latches on in the first season. The first season is a little bit less focused than the second season. I won't spoil what happens. But he latches onto a concept in both seasons where the subjects of the documentary get to practice sort of hypotheticals around their lives so that they can be more successful in achieving what they want out of it. It's a very strange concept, and then Nathan Fielder kind of like facilitates and inserts himself into this. He's not just the creative force; he's in these shows, and at times he's an observer. At times he's very much an active participant. But even when he's an observer, he's walking around with a laptop attached to his neck, taking notes in the background. Like it is like the pinnacle of cringe comedy. It is incredibly farcical at times, incredibly uncomfortable. I hadn't had a great deal of exposure to his style of comedy before, but I am now really intrigued to see some of the other things he's done. At times I had to stop watching because I had to be like, oh my God, that's too much. And then I'd then come back to it later. I had to take a break because it was just so uncomfortable and so like, but he confronts these social situations that would create that feeling of uncomfortability, but he faces up to it, pushes through it, doubles down on it, triples down on it, and then comes out the other side. And then you realize at the end of each season that he's probably telling you something you weren't expecting. And there is truth to what you may have learned from this, but it's also a very carefully constructed situation where they're also very funny, and you're constantly questioning what's real, what's not real, how much of these people are in on it, how little are they in on it, who's an actor, who isn't an actor, because he actively uses actors throughout these rehearsals because they're rehearsals, so they have to have actors who are playing parts, but then the actors become participants who then interact with other actors, who maybe then interact with a third layer and a fourth layer and a fifth layer. So what is real? So it's this crazy shit, man. It's like, I've never seen anything like it. Like how he got that made is just, and he's done 2 seasons, so it's like he must do well. But it you've got to check it out. You've got to check it out, man, because I know it's very different to Tom's stuff. It's not about scatological humor, that's for sure. But it is. At times, I was like proper, just like you know when you laugh and you feel uncomfortable for laughing, and you're like, "Ooh, should I have laughed? What's that? Ooh, I shouldn't have laughed at that." But it's really funny. Like there was quite a few of them, and other times I was just pissing myself laughing. Like that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then I was also like, "Oh man, that's really interesting. Like that's a really interesting thing that he's kind of confronted there." And you also feel like you're learning from something as well. And it's a very strange combination, but it's really cool. The Rehearsal, yeah, like check it out. Weird shit. Like really weird, really good. You have to give it a bit though. You won't know from just one episode. You have to like sit with it for a bit.
TV as well.
I'm not like, where did I see that? I'm trying to let me look it up quick. I know it's HBO.
Watch on Apple TV. Yeah, got it here. Yeah, I've got Apple TV.
You have you signed up?
No. I can see. I've got it up here. Oh, look,
It's
Foundation.
really good.
Foundation is number 1.
Yeah, it's so good, mate. It's so good. Right. Did you want to talk about Squid Game before I finish up on my last show?
Hard because they'll have spoilers. I've watched all the Squid Games. All I'll say is season 1 is very good. Season 2, on the face of it, you think, oh, this is a bit. Wow, this is not as like season 1. But then season 3 is very good, and it then basically lets you know that season 2 was a build up for the climax of season 3.
Right.
That's it.
So I haven't seen any of it.
I kind of wish somebody told me when I was watching season 2, don't worry, this is just all build for the crescendo, the final finale. Don't worry, because I thought season 2 was very lackluster, but then watching season 3, I was like, this is amazing, and now I understood why they did season 2.
And is season 3 like the end?
The end. Yep.
Okay.
Apparently. Again, it's hard without spoiling anything.
Okay. Yeah. So this was another one of those things, because this hit hard over COVID, didn't it? If I remember rightly, season 1. This was a COVID success.
Yeah, I think it was. You might be right.
And I didn't. So I'm just checking the year now. Release year, 2021. Yeah. And I never like connected with it. The concept was like, this sounds stupid. But loads of people love it. Like, is it worth me checking out now, would you say? Is it going to hold up? Is it going to be as engaging? Or is it something like, if I didn't have that, capture that moment,
I think it will
it's
hold
not
up.
going to be as strong?
My wife is now watching it after me watching it in Korean. She's watching it in English dubbed and is thoroughly enjoying it.
What's better, sub or dub?
I hate dubbed with a passion.
Same.
So, subbed for me.
Obviously, another one of our big giants, Rob, is a huge dub proponent, and almost enough to fall out on.
Not been on the show since, so
it's a good point. It's a good point. I think I have to do Korean.
do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say watch it. It's very good.
Well, I'm going to end on one of my all-time favorite franchises, which is now coming back in a big way, better than it has been in a really long time. But you've never been into Star Trek, have you, Matt?
No,
just missed it. Just never connected with it.
Yeah, just missed it, and then by the time, it's just obviously so many episodes now. I'm just not gonna.
Well, let me tell you, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds would be your way in, because you don't need to have watched any of what's come before, right? This works.
Surely there's
completely. No, this works completely by itself. You do not need anything else. So this is on the Enterprise, right? Mr. Spock is there, but it's not Captain Kirk. It's Captain Christopher Pike, who was the first captain of the Star Trek Enterprise. So it kind of predates the TOS stuff, even though obviously it's been made many years later. And the brilliant thing about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, beyond the fantastic ensemble cast, which are all just brilliant, is that it has so much fun. It is completely faithful to Star Trek, but each episode kind of does its own thing, right? So it does this thing where it does feel moderately episodic, but there is enough through lines and character pieces and story to kind of tie it together in a serial format. However, the episodes, especially in season 2, but also season 3 that's just started is showing it as well. They all kind of like encapsulate their own vibe and their own genre. Basically they've said to the directors, do your own thing, right? You don't have to adhere to a certain style, which is how TV shows are usually made. And therefore you've got these really different takes on, like, there's the rom-com episode, there's the musical episode, there's the dark thriller episode. There's the police procedural episode. You know, all of these kind of homages and pastiches to different types of genre, to different types of storytelling, to different types of structure come through the show, and it just has so much fun with it. The guy playing Pike, Anson Mount, he's had other stuff. I think he'd done some films and did other TV shows, but this is his role. I mean, he is absolutely crushing it in the leading spot as the captain. He's dashing, he's charismatic, but he's thoughtful. He's everything you'd want the captain to be. And then you got this ensemble cast. Mr. Spock, I guess, in a way, is that touchstone that everybody can connect to because everybody has that familiarity with the concept of that character. He's the logical one. He's the stoic one. He's that strength that's always there. But even he gets depth and chances to mess around, and he has like romantic storylines and things like that throughout as well, which is again very reminiscent of stuff that happened in the original series, but without you needing to know all about the original series. It's a very, very accessible way into Star Trek, and if you're in the mood for just like a rip-roaring space adventure that doesn't take itself too seriously, that has really good production values, that has a great acting, great cast, beautiful visuals, you know, good adventures, good bit of fun, one you could definitely watch with the family, Matt, like, you know, your boys would be absolutely loving that, I'm sure, as well. They'd have a great time. You know, you could really all have a great time watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I think it is that really cool new way in, and I kind of hope they double down on this and build from this rather than trying to reset again or whatever, because that seems to have been the problem for a while now at Paramount. They've not really known what to do with Star Trek. They had Discovery, which was kind of a reboot, a reset, but also got really convoluted and just wasn't that great, and that's gone now. Then they came back with Picard, which had some, I think, was that 3 seasons in the end? The first 2 were terrible. The third one kind of gave us finally what we wanted with the nostalgia of connecting us with TNG, but it was really inconsistent and patchy, and poor Patrick Stewart just showing his age like crazy. He felt like if he fell over on the set, he'd hurt himself, and it was like, God, don't need that. Don't want him to kill Patrick Stewart, Christ. And that's what that felt like the whole time watching that. And so get rid of that. That's gone now. Now the Lower Decks, which was my other big favorite, which was the animated show, again, another great way into Star Trek, but that one is super referential. That is a show for the fans, because all it is in jokes. All it is like referencing TNG and DS9 and Voyager and bringing characters back that, you know, I as a Trekkie has that affinity for and that love for. So that's great, but that's for the hardcore, right? So it seems accessible because it's animated, but it's actually probably the most inaccessible. Whereas this doesn't require any previous knowledge. It gives you these encapsulated storylines with characters you can understand, with situations you can get behind in a one and done format, and yet you get some build and you get some drama and you get like some really cool reinventions of races or situations that have come before. But again, you don't need to have known about them. It's nice as a fan to go, oh look, this is where they're riffing on X. But if you don't know that, you will lose nothing from it, right? So honestly, a fun sci-fi show for all the family. Way better than Doctor Bloody Who, I tell you that much. So
yeah, I never watched that either.
That's garbage. Don't bother. I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who anymore, sadly. But yeah, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, new season, good shit. This is all on Paramount Plus, I want to say, which is probably one of the weakest streaming services, unfortunately. Terrible interface, really not the best library of content from Paramount and CBS, but if that's the way you've got to watch Star Trek, I'm sure there are other ways, but I won't get into them now. Yeah, check that out, man. Does that sound interesting to you?
Nah, it sounds shit, mate, to be honest.
Genuinely, I thought I was doing a good job of selling that to you as like a family accessible sci-fi romp, but no, nothing.
I think I just hear Star Trek. I'm like, no, I'm good.
What? Why?
I think it is just. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, but what? You like sci-fi, yeah? You like sci-fi?
No, I'm not a massive sci-fi fan. The Foundation sounded really good.
Yeah.
Sold me on that. Way more than this. I think just the idea of a ship just floating around from planet to planet, like what's the monster of the week? That's kind of how I always saw Star Trek.
I mean, the whole remit, right, was them exploring, right? So they're exploring the frontier, the final frontier of space. So that's how they gave themselves that conceit of here's a different thing every week, because they're constantly pushing out to find new things, right? So that's the inherent kind of concept, and that's the same in Strange New Worlds. So if that doesn't appeal, then yeah, fair enough.
No, it's just obviously, as you know, there's just so much out there.
There is.
Yeah.
More than ever, there are so many ways to use your time, and if you have hung with us over these probably 2 episodes of this podcast, I really appreciate that use of your time, and I think we'll use that as a segue into our wrap up. Well, thank you very much, everyone who has listened to this, be it one mammoth 3-hour-long podcast, which is what this would probably equate to about roughly at this point, or 2 more digestible podcasts. I do appreciate. I'm not sure how I'll work out intros and outros if we do it that way, by the way. So this might be very strange, but I'm not going to force you, Matt, to try and record an intro and outro with me for a show that doesn't actually exist. So don't worry. I'll figure something out. I'll get creative. I'll use AI to. I'll use AI to create a copy of your voice. That'll be fine. I'll do that.
Good luck with that.
I don't know. You don't think I could? Let me try.
Probably scare the crap out of me.
Matt talking to Matt. Yeah, that'd be imagine that.
Mate. I mean,
you'd like that?
Yeah. If it captures my personality, I'd love to just hear what I would say to myself.
You'd probably mostly just be really insulting. That's how you usually are. That's just to Adam. My bad. But
I love that guy.
I know you do. We all love that guy. Anyway, thank you very much for hanging out and listening to this After Dark's 1 or 2 episodes. It's been a real good time chatting to you, Matt. Thank you for joining me. You've been an amazing co-host as always.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I love talking about this shit with you. It's just great fun. Check us out on 8deadgiants.com, which is now a collective page which has all of our social links, anywhere you can find us on YouTube. All our different podcast subscription apps can all be found on 8deadgiants.com, something I put together in the last few weeks to make it a bit easier to connect with all of our platforms and where we can be found. Honestly, though, get on a podcast app, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, Downcast. I don't care where, I don't care how. Give us that 5-star rating and review. If you've gotten to this point in the podcast, you must like it. You must, because why on earth would you still be here if you didn't? So give us that 5-star rating, and that will really help spread the word and get us out there and help optimize our search engine stuff so that people can find us on those different podcast apps. Obviously, YouTube as well. Give us a thumbs up and a subscribe on there. That's always great. Leave us a comment as well on YouTube. Be happy to any questions, comments, get your shout out. I'll bring them up on subsequent episodes. Always happy to engage with the audience in that way as well. But basically, look, there's loads going on. We're going to be back for loads more. Matt, have you got any final thoughts or anywhere you want to get plugged?
No. I think I'm done. Can't talk anymore. So
2.5 hours. 2.5 hours of hot, sweaty chat with Ben
exactly
has worn you out.
Yeah, I'm done.
You're dripping out of orifices you didn't know you had.
Oh no, I knew I had them.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I drew attention to them then in that case.
Yeah, they do get neglected from time to time.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week or the week after or something, because I don't know how this is going to work in the edit.
For review,
drop in thing. Oh boy, who knows? Who knows what I'm going to do? Who knows? It's a surprise even to me. So see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.